They hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly.
Yo, what's up, world? It's your boy Xpress, live in the flesh on another great edition of Express Yourself with Xpress. I want to say thank you guys for always tuning in, but don't just do that. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. Also, shout out to my amazing sponsors, Self Love, King Vision, and Shoe Pugs. Again, if shoes are your drugs, hit up my boys at Shoe Pugs. They'll take care of you like they always take care of me. But again, you know how I love to start my episodes with an expression of the week. My expression of the week was very key because of the individual I got in today, but it is versatility. You must be versatile in any form of the industry you're in, whether it be sports, whether it be media, music, any form of it. You have to be versatile or else you'll get left behind. And honestly, it's another way to constantly sharpen yourself, because if you're able to octopus it or spiderweb it, however you guys like to, put that in perspective, then there's other ways for you to get to the main goal at the end of the day. And this man right here, he definitely has been very versatile, ladies and gentlemen. Not only with the podcast, not only with the media, not only with the management, but as well as an artist as well. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I got my brother, the one and only Mr. G6.
I appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here, man.
This is a long time coming.
Long time.
And I've been watching you do your own thing before you became part of the network studio family. Like I said, man, salute to everything you're doing. And once I saw that you were doing your own thing, I said, I can't just come on Socially Acceptable, man. I gotta come
full
talk
circle,
to you. Yeah,
man.
It's gotta be a full circle
circle
moment. So much appreciation
as well. And I'll be making my rounds too. I will be out in Vegas very soon to go ahead and make.
Is this my
everything
camera?
Makes sense.
Right
yes,
there?
Yes, that's you.
SB Press will be on G6 TV, y'all.
That's
now, whenever
right.
he comes, next time he comes to Vegas. Last time he was there, things was frivolous, and it was my fault. I admit,
business calls. I understand.
I admit it was my fault, but we're gonna get him on G6 TV because I plan to get him on G6 TV before this. This was gonna be the, homage after that. So he kind of took care of me first, but I got it.
Hey, it's all love and family, and it's been A1 since day one with you, man.
100%.
I can't say thank you enough.
100%.
And it's a true form of inspiration. Like, you have helped me in a lot of ways sharpen my versatility. Because I see you having your hands in a lot of different things, not only just as an artist, but as, again, I'm going to say this, as a mogul.
Appreciate it.
I feel like people need to understand what that means. Once they do, they'll see you in that light, respectfully.
Definitely.
So let's start off with letting people know where you're originally from and some of your family upbringing.
Okay. I'm originally from Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in D.C. and I moved. Oh, you said my family?
Yeah, family upbringing.
I was in D.C. So I was born in D.C. and I was in D.C. till I was about 5 years old. My dad was in the Army. He wasn't in my life much after that, but he was in the Army, and him and my mom were married. And I believe I would say about 2 or 3, moved to Germany because he was in the Army. So I lived in Germany for 2 years, came back at 5, and I was in D.C. with my grandma, saying R.I.P. Katie, R.I.P. Geraldine. And from there, I would say then I moved from D.C., then I moved to Beverly Hills.
Okay.
I would say maybe around like kindergarten, first grade, and stuff like that. So
that's crazy because my grandfather, he was in the Army. He also was stationed over in Germany.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy. Yeah. I've been every time I tell people my story, everybody say, "Yeah, man, my dad went to Germany too." So I didn't know it was very common at that time.
Very much so.
To be stationed in Germany. So did that, and then my mom moved to Beverly Hills. And when I say Beverly Hills, we was not in Bel Air. It was like she got right to the point, like right Olympic and Robertson area. So for people
at that point,
right, for people that are not familiar, it used to be this thing where you could look and see the asphalt, like where it's very blacktop, and then it's messed up, and then the street sign for Beverly Hills was white, and the street sign from LA was blue. So you could stand in the middle of the street between, I would say Wooster, you know what I mean, and like Robertson, and you could see
the division,
a white sign and a blue sign. So I was right there. My mom, she got us right there to the point where I could go to Beverly Hills Unified School District and stuff like that.
And that's funny because you guys know I do a blast from the past. That was actually one of the pictures I was going to use. That division line, you can like you have a photo out there.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
okay, cool.
So yeah, like I do a lot of digging, and I just found that unique. Like, it doesn't matter how split the line was, you still were playing ball on both sides.
Both
of it.
sides, 100%.
So coming up with that, would you say that as far as meeting new friends and stuff and getting them to really embrace you, was that a tough time based on where you lived in contrast to where they did?
No, man. To be honest, what I always thought was cool is my mom would always say that me, young, I was always, looked at as the popular kid, the cool kid, but I was everything. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
never discriminated against, some people. If some people thought that this guy was a geek or a nerd or whatever, but if he lived right next to me, that's my friend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not looking at him for whatever social, they don't
Mhm.
really have a social class and like that when we was coming up. But it's like, it used to be he's cool, he's not, he's the geek, he's not. But no, I never had a problem making friends. I was always, Beverly Hills was a melting pot. It wasn't many black people when I first showed up. Everybody thought people like, oh yeah, what are you, Michael Jordan's dad? I mean, son. I'd be like, oh, I ain't got no dad, so yeah, Michael Jordan is my, my dad. So, but yeah, nah, I never had problems, making friends. It was all, Beverly Hills is really cool. Honestly, like, I can't wait to fully, I have a few documentaries and a few shows and stuff like that in the works to depict this story, but. I mean, I couldn't, there's no struggle story with me, man. It was great childhood, never had a problem getting friends. My mom used to always make fun of me when I was a kid. She'd be like, you was always upset when people would do Urkel wrong, watching Urkel. Like I was that kid, you know what I'm saying? So,
Okay,
she's
okay.
like, I'm the cool guy, but it's like, hey mom, why they doing Urkel like that? So I was always, compassionate, you know what I'm saying? So any of my friends, I never judged, you know what I'm saying? Whether they were
Right.
Persian, whether they were Asian, whether they were white, whatever, you know what I'm saying, race, ethnicity, it was all good. So I never had
No,
problems with
I
that.
completely understand, and it also goes with the speech. A lot of people will take how your dialect and
Right.
everything, and make it be like I heard it all. Trust me, I ain't even gonna say it, but I've heard it all.
100%.
But yeah, and it's so funny because it brings me into this fit that I'm wearing. Because when I started high school, this was what I was. I was the guy in Jordans and jerseys, and
100%.
this was actually
Iverson.
this specific Iverson jersey
favorite
was
player.
the first one that you can really hold up. I guess a lens to look through, and you'll see me with this
100%.
starting off high school. And same thing, I wasn't necessarily looking down upon anybody. My freshman year, I was only really embraced by like the greasers and the bikers and the kids
Okay.
on the hill
What
playing
school?
hacky sack.
What school?
Gary High School in Pomona,
Oh, okay,
but
gotcha.
we had moved from Compton out that way, so it was
Got
just
you.
like most of the black people or whatever, they went to junior high school together, so they all graduated together. They already knew each other. I had to
He
get
was a new
like
kid. Yeah, he was a new kid.
integrated in and stuff like that. But so what I want to ask you when it came to sports and everything, because you definitely were a scholar,
Yes,
you definitely were a major athlete.
definitely.
When it came to sports, how were you able to, I guess, how were you able to stay yourself, but also have that DC background?
With sports, man, it's with DC. What was cool is I always went back and forth every
Yep.
summer. You know what I'm saying? So my
That's why I
mom,
asked about the background.
yeah. My mom, she always wanted me to have the balance.
Mhm.
She didn't want me to just be some kid that's living in Beverly Hills or be some hood kid or anything like that. And my mom, she came from middle class, even though she was in DC, so she wasn't the projects and that wasn't her life, so she
Mhm.
wasn't gonna give that to me. But she always wanted me to have the balance, so I would always go back, and I was always understanding of the culture in DC and things like
Right.
that. So anytime I would come be in LA, my mom did a dope job as far as I've never heard a kid say that they went like I would literally go to the Beverly Hills YMCA,
Mhm.
drop 30 on them,
Mhm.
and then that same day my mom would take me to Santa Rosalia in the jungles, and I would go play ball over there, and then I'd drop 20, 30, or whatever. But the dichotomy, for those that don't know, that's the jungles where they film training day
Training
stuff.
day.
So, very rough neighborhood and stuff like that. But my mom, it's normal to us. I
Mhm.
grew, went to West Angeles, all that type of stuff in that same area. So just she always kept the dichotomy of that, of me, having my DC background, always going back and forth. Then I mean, I'm at the Beverly Hills YMCA. These are my friends. These are who I play with. Okay,
Mhm.
go get him 30. And then you go to West Angeles and you play with these kids. So do that. So she always kept me balanced. And I believe as far as my game, that gave me the balance. So it's like, you know, I knew I could shoot because I'm around the white boys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I was hot sauce because I dribbled all the time because I'm with the niggas.
It comes
So,
out. I mean,
yeah.
at those times, and one mixtape was very volatile. So I
Definitely.
definitely understand that.
Definitely, man.
And that's how actually that's what got more of the black people cool with me. It's like, okay, yeah, it wasn't, because initially it started off kind of, and I'm sure you can contest to this. Some of it comes off as indirect envy or jealousy.
Definitely.
So instead of people like getting to know you and embracing you, they'll be standoffish and think the worst of the worst without even knowing who you are and what your background is.
Right. That's true.
So that's kind of what happened to me. So like my sophomore year, it changed. You know, I had a sister who was a year younger than me when she came into high school and everything. She brought in a lot of people that she knew, but it took a year when everyone was like, "Oh, that's your brother." Oh, that.
Right.
So she got it easier. She got it easier. I put in the work that she didn't have to.
Definitely.
But with you being only child,
yes,
were there tough times to where you felt like you didn't really have people to lean on, or did you really incorporate yourself into a brotherhood?
When it comes to that, like I said, my mom, she did a great job of always always putting me into a bunch of programs. You know, I went to West Angeles Church of God of Christ, which was, I mean, one of the premier churches in the 90s at that time. And ingratiated me in so many programs. There was so many different programs. Rites of Passage program. I mean, I was a Boy Scout as well, you know, and, you know, that afforded me mentors.
Yep.
I was in Haleo Tribe, which was a step team. I just did so many things. You know, my mom had me in karate. My mom had me in basketball, football. I would play tennis in Beverly Hills. My mom put me in so many different programs. I honestly didn't feel like I was alienated. I didn't feel like you know, I was left out. I didn't feel like it was, you know, like I said, there's no struggle story here. So I didn't have those feelings. It's like my mom set me up to the point where it was almost like, pick what you want to do with your life, because, you know, we create our own universe. And it's almost like my mom she would always say, she says in preschool, right when she, you know, first day of preschool, she'll tell you, Press, like, you know what I'm saying, right when I went there and I let go of her hand, she's like, he was off to the races. Like that's her story. You know what I'm saying? She's like, he's off and he never looked back. And then, you know, fast forward, you know, I was 4, then going into 5, you know, I was riding, you know, they used to always do the little tricycle thing, but all of the teachers, they had bikes. So I immediately taught myself how to ride a bike at like 4, 5. So I was always, you know what I mean? So my mom, she always was like, yeah, we ain't got to worry about him. So I just always wanted to create the universe, you know, what we want to be. Cause it's like, this is our lives. We do it ourselves. We figure it out ourselves. So I've always just kind of had that mindset.
You've always worn a lot of different hats,
Definitely,
so to speak.
Definitely.
So let's talk about one of the main hats, you as an artist. Let's talk about how, you know, you initially had the idea and the mental fortitude, because some people don't have the mindset. They just think, oh, I fit the look.
Right.
I'll get the mindset later.
Right.
Talk about the initial days when you first became an artist and how your mindset was already there, which makes it easy for you to do what you're doing still now.
Great question, because no one ever asked me about me being an artist. It's so funny. When I first, basically, I was always, you know, class clown, cool guy, funny guy, popular guy, all that type of stuff. You know, always funny. We always roasting. And I just always thought I was just good at everything. Yeah, that was just me. So once we started, you know, freestyling, you know, even if we watching 8 Mile, you know, all those movies, those iconic movies that came out, you know, this is when I'm coming up. So it's like, oh man, battle rap. So then we start trying to do it and stuff like that. So my thing was, I don't know if I joked around with certain things. I don't know if I just played with it, but I was always just pretty good at rapping. So once I started doing that, I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, whatever. Your friends are just telling you, oh, this is cool. You're a cool rapper and stuff like that. But I was like, all right, cool. Let me see where I can go with it. And then I started. I don't know if you're familiar with. Well, I'm sure you're familiar with. What am I saying? The World on Wheels.
Yes,
They used to have record pools.
Yes.
So shouts out to my auntie, Silky D. She's one of the first female DJs in Los Angeles. You know, that's
if
the queen.
You don't know World on Wheels, then I don't know what's wrong with you.
There you go.
You got to know World on Wheels and Skate Depot.
Yes, got to know Skate Depot.
Sure.
And back in the 90s, both of those places were very dangerous.
Oh man. with
but
problems.
very booming, good times, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like I was just they used to have the record pools, and I remember I was like, okay, my aunt invited me to a record pool, and for people that don't know, this is one of the places. I don't want to mistake this, but this is one of the places where DJ Mustard he was doing this before he became DJ Mustard. The record pool that I actually did was the same record pool that YG did before he got signed to Def Jam. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember it was an Asian Def Jam representative for Def Jam West, because everybody knows that Def Jam is on the East Coast. So she invited me to come do that, and I mean, I went. I had a record. I did it, but it was the full dog and pony show. You know, I had the woman I was with at the time. That was my child's mom. We had the whole, loyalty is everything, sweatshirts, and we did the whole thing. We went and did that whole situation. Went up there and represented. And after I did that, that was one of the first times on an industry level, you know what I'm saying? Only because, my auntie was in the industry, but on an industry level where I got industry feedback, because what it would be all of the DJs and all of the record pool DJs and stuff like that. So if they like your record, they would start spinning it and things like that. So yeah, I went, I rapped, and you get the feedback from the crowd, you get the feedback from everybody there. Yep. Then, they get the mic and they all talk about it and stuff like that.
They critique.
Yeah, they give you the critique. Mustard was there. Shouts out to Mustard. YG was there. They didn't know who I was, and at that time, I didn't know who they were. I mean, they were.
We're talking very early, very early.
I'll never forget it. You know what I'm saying? YG, he did at the record pool, and he had on a chef, like a chef outfit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what
Shout out my brother Keenan. Shout out my brother Keenan.
There you go. Whatever he did, it worked. Because right after that, he got signed. He got signed to Def Jam, and Tootie and Buddha came out. Shouts to Ty and all that type of stuff.
That's a major moment. Not even bringing too many ties in, but rest in peace, my Uncle Wolf. That was right as the Tootie and Buddha had popped, like it was popping, and I'll never forget at my uncle's funeral. Everybody from the hood was there. Everybody.
Right.
And then I just remember the entire parking lot, because it was over in Whittier, the mortuary that oversees the whole freeway and everything.
I'm familiar.
So I'll never forget that entire parking structure was just like, it was a celebration, but we was definitely giving YG his early flowers, because we knew what was to come.
Nah, he like I said, I was there. He had it. He had that thing. You didn't know what it was. They didn't know what it was, because clearly in the beginning, the Def Jam YG, and then he had to do the whole
he had to go
my nigga go fuck with Jeezy and all that type of stuff. But he had that it factor. So shouts out to him. But after I did that, I was like, okay, cool. I'm getting industry and it doesn't feel like you're getting industry stuff. I'm just saying it now, looking at it in hindsight. Because in the moment, these are just your peers. It's my auntie. These just my peer. World on Wheels. I grew up here, but I felt something different. And for a flashback before that, I had, like, as you can see, my partner Anthony.
Yeah, shout out
my guy Anthony. His cousin Michael Henderson. His dad is Michael Henderson. He's a junior. Michael Henderson is for people that don't know, he's like he's a jazz great, R&B legend. Used to play with Miles Davis and things like that. And I'll never forget the first show that I got to do. I got to open up for him. It was in Anaheim, and it was 5,000 people in attendance. Never forget it. So this was a little before that. So right when I did that, that was the first time I walked out into a crowd. I remember we was just like rehearsing and trying to get on and do what we were gonna do, because it was last minute.
Sound checks and everything.
But it was like last minute. It was like, yo, y'all want to come do this? It was like, cool. We went and did it. But I'd never done a major show. You know what I'm saying? 5,000 people, all that type of stuff. And I didn't realize. These are just your friends. I don't realize his dad is a legend. Right. We looking backstage, and we see him in the crowd and almost taking his shirt off, and he older, but the ladies is loving him. So I don't know the magnitude of what it is. But that was the first time that when we finally, you think you're going to go on at 8 or 9. That's the first time you start understanding. No, it don't work like that.
No.
So whenever he was finished getting all of his admiration and getting his issue out, he said, all right, well, where my little nephews at? And then we came on stage, and I'll never forget it. The first time I said, do my ladies run this motherfucker? And I heard like 3,000 women say, hell yeah. That was it.
That was it.
You know what I mean? Like I got it. I was like, oh, this is euphoric. I was like, this is different.
I'm getting my glow.
I'm getting my glow. You know, my mom was there, my aunt was there. It was dope. So that moment, and then that moment at the record pool, that was when I was like, okay, I'm establishing becoming an artist. And then once again, it's very iconic that my guy Anthony was here, because Anthony and his brother, CT, they had gotten an independent distribution deal with Latin Cool Records.
Mm.
And this is in 2008, people. 2008. And I know this because my son was born in 2008. That was when a lot of people always want to talk about when the industry was changing and was shifting.
Mm-hmm.
That was that moment that it was happening. And for those that are not familiar, that was when Drake was coming into the game.
Yes.
Because it was right, like that was the T-Pain auto-tune thing, and then it went to Drake, and that was when Wayne basically relinquished, here, man, I'm done, Lollipop, I'm the greatest rapper alive. He gave him the torch. He didn't baton pass it. He gave him the torch up here so Drake could take it up here so he could take it to new heights. So but that was right when I didn't know about distribution. All that, it's new to me. So he's like, yo, we got the distribution deal. It's a 70-30 split. One of the people that I got it with, this is CT and Anthony, and them talking to me about this deal that they just done. And they were like, yo, you can be a part of it. You can get down, you know, tell us if you want to be a part of it. I was like, sure, I'm with it. They sent me the paperwork. Cool. I signed. And in 2008, I was a part of the first people that was, you know, the independence, you know, your stuff is on, there was no Spotify then. It's on Apple. I'm sorry, not even Apple Music. It was on Amazon.
Wow.
You know, Amazon and things like that. So, you know, just to give you those three, like that, and then the record pool. And then I signed a distribution deal in 2008. I felt like an artist, but you know, I just had my son. This is a new experience for me. So trying to juggle all of those things, you know, just understanding, you know what I mean? Just because it's like, you know, having a kid and then working on music, you know, it took some getting used to. But then, so I signed a distribution deal. And then after I signed a distribution deal, one of my partners, Bander, he was a producer. Shouts out to Bander. He's doing really good things now from what I'm seeing. He was in EDM. He was an EDM guy, and a lot of the stuff that I was always ahead of my time. I was always visual. I was always filming things. You know, I'm sure you did your.
I see everything.
You know? And I hope that he saw a lot of you people delete your Instagrams, but I'm very vetted. Instagram came out in 2012. You can go all the way down. I got posts in 2012 since day one. So like that I would say that was my journey as far as just feeling like an artist. And then once I started working with Bander, we started working on, like, I mean, I would say it was kind of like EDM rap. You know, I was already doing my other stuff too, but I was just trying to experiment stuff. And then, you know, fast forward, as you see how huge is EDM, you know, and I'm in Vegas, you know, so him
overly popular. You're in the right spot for all of that and then some.
Exactly.
So it's gonna transcend.
Exactly. So I was always ahead of the curve. So then I was working with Bander. After I finished working with Bander, and I would say, well, it wasn't a finish working with him. You know, he went on and did great things. And then after that, I moved to Vegas in 2016.
Right.
So once I moved to Vegas in 2016, obviously by that time, you know, I'd done a lot of music. I was doing a lot of things. I'm always acting. I was doing a whole bunch of other things, but we're going to focus on the music. And then once I moved to Las Vegas, and that's when I kind of started focusing on getting much more content, many more videos. You know, shouts out to my guy Willie at Whoview TV. He filmed one of my first visuals, and from there, it just took Vegas by storm.
Now, because you again, you wear a lot of hats, brother.
Yes, sir.
Not wearing one right now.
I
physically,
know,
but
I did that on purpose. My last interview, I had one on. I kind of want to give him all the vibes.
I want to hide the waves today.
The dips are still dipping.
They there. You are one of the very few people I can say that have been able to transition or even maintain being an artist, but also managing other artists.
Right.
Can you talk about how you've been able to really coast in between but not let one bleed too much into the other, like keeping them separated.
Definitely. When it comes to so my management journey is influenced by Ari Gold. For people that aren't,
let's talk about this money play right now. The money train.
Let's talk about the money. Okay, so money train management. Okay, so basically,
Yes.
my brand in the beginning, it was Loyalty is Everything. It was LI Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? That was what I had. Like I said, when I was the record pool.
Yes.
Yeah. But after a while, I was like, I don't want to just walk around and it says "lie" on my clothes. So I said, I was like, man, I'm an executive artist, you know, at this time, and I was doing so many other things, but like I said, let's just focus on the music. So I was like, you know what? Let me. I have so much that I can actually bring to the table, and everything is changing, and you can do everything, and I wanted to change the face of it. Is really what it is. I don't like titles, you know. I don't like how a director. You know, we coming up. This is what he's supposed to look like. The artist is what he's supposed to look like. The coach, he looks like the player. I don't like that. You know, my mom always told me at the end of the day, you know, life is what you make it. You know what I'm saying? So you can fit all those things. So when it came to management, you know, I'm always like Ari Gold, you know, the star of Entourage to me. At the end of the day, shit, he's the one that took away all the the trophies. You know, Vince ain't win no trophies. Shouts out to Vince. But my thing is, I just wanted to be executive artist and our artist that I am, and I always wanted to put people in position. And once I learned how the industry was moving, then I was like, okay, I can help people. I actually, you know, shouts out to Spencer Galbraith, who was an executive at Interscope, and he was my mentor at the time, and he was showing me how things were working, the interworkings of Interscope, the interworkings of the business, which no one shows you. You know, hold your hand, pause, so to speak, and will walk you through, not a door, walk you through an understanding.
Right.
You know, I'm intelligent, as are you, but I'm still a person that if you just, it might take 2 hours. It might take this one day, but just sit me down and articulate and explain me what the fuck is going on. Tell me this industry. What do I, you know what I mean? So Spencer actually did that. You know, he actually showed me, you know, how things work. There was, you know, the baby. I was a part of, you know, helping the whole curation or whatever people want to call it of him getting signed and things like that. So once I saw, okay, this is what happens when an artist literally goes from obscurity to superstardom.
Yes. And
I can see it and I know how to do it. Okay, cool. So after, you know, I was a part of that, watching that process, seeing that process, slightly a part of it. Then I said, okay, cool. I turned to Spence, look, I'm about to start doing these podcasts, because I was always in the independent radio, which is what it was before they were calling it podcasting.
Right.
So I've always been a person of interest, always been a man of interest. People always wanted to sit me down and do things like this. So I was doing, I believe, my first independent radio, which was, you know, shouts out to Silky D. She was the one that put me in front of those. I went on the radio show. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dundee.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and like I said, and they went on and done great things. So, you know, like I remember what I told you on our last show. My story is more of the Alchemist story. Even though I have the look of I just showed up and blew up and I'm Mr. Beverly Hills, I get it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Understood.
Right.
But
you know, tall,
there's levels to this.
Tall, dark, good looking guy. Y'all think it just no, it didn't happen like that. Even coming from Beverly Hills. So just like my whole thing is like I just always wanted to appreciate everything that was going on so I could have a full understanding of what it was.
So building that connection with other artists and stuff like that, how do you really coach them through the steps to where they don't trip over things that you've already persevered through?
Right. What it is that, I mean, you literally giving them a template isn't really going to do it. It's leading by example.
Right.
So like I say, I'm always preach this. I'm just super consistent, and I'm always going to post a lot. I'm always going to showcase, but I've been doing that my whole life. So it's innate to me. It's just normal. Before there was camera phones, we had handy cams. We would sit in the car and freestyle and rap and showcase our lifestyles and do all this stuff that you guys call streaming now. We was doing that a long time ago. So it's nothing for me to pull out my phone and always have my phone, keep the cameras rolling, so to speak. But what my artists do is I believe they just just you can lead by example. So it's like I don't have to always tell them post and do this and do that and do this. If I'm actually showing this is what it is, follow suit. If this is what matters to you, because in management, it's not my dream for you. You're the artist. I'm managing your expectations. I'm managing your vision. It's not my vision. You know what I'm saying? It has to matter that much to you. But if I wake up tomorrow and you didn't post, that's how much you cared about your vision, because we're in that digital. This is where we're at. We're in a visibility era. This is my camera. No one cares about your fucking music, guys. You have to actually come to a platform and do this. And it's a social experiment. We need to know if the consumer actually likes your black ass or white ass or Asian ass or whatever. We need to know because if they do, you can sell them sugar or dog shit. It doesn't matter because they already like you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
So to me, I've just always been myself. It never looked like, he just wants to be something and now he's doing something else. I've always been this. I've always had people that believed in me. I've always had, so a believer or my partners just became artists that I was working with. You know what I'm saying? If I already knew them, and if not, they just I like the way that you're moving. How can we do business? And I would just move accordingly like that. So it's just leading by example. And I always wanted to show artists the journey, because once I finished the Interscope situation with Spencer, and I told him, I said, look, man, I want you to put me on these nationwide interview tours. And I said, this is how this is going to work. After you put me on this one, and I want a young artist to know, I paid for that. There's nothing free. This is a pay to play industry. This is the industry that you're in. You know what I'm saying? So I paid for that. But what I let him know is that I'm only paying one time, because once I go on all these platforms, they're gonna fall in love with me.
They're gonna have to,
and they're gonna invite me back. And once they invite me back, I'm gonna start booking my artists on this, and I'm gonna have a management company. I had my vision, and I told him that. He said, "Bet." I went on. Ironically, this nationwide interview tour that he put me on, it was in San Diego. It was like San Diego, the Bay, and LA initially. Did that, killed it, and Palm Springs. Did that, killed it, and after I did that whole run, and what I think was very, very keen is that I did that run during COVID. So this happened in 2019 with the stuff with the baby. That was 2018 for people that's gonna fact check.
Right.
That was 2018. 2019, 2018 for the baby. 2019 is when we curated this nationwide interview tour and all that type of stuff. And when I started doing a lot of business with Interscope and Spencer. And then after I did my first run, then COVID happened. Once COVID happened, I told him and everybody else, they're going to call me back, which they did. Shouts out to every platform. And I did it again. But once COVID happened, people were watching me do the same run that they watched me do 6 months prior during COVID, while remember, I'm videotaping everything.
Right.
So I'm traveling. I'm in planes. People didn't even realize they could travel because everybody's so scared. You know what I'm saying?
Some people relate to it.
They relate to it. So I was moving around, and I believe that it's like the flu game. You know what I'm saying? Which we know what he was really doing. But, it's like when people see your back against the wall, but you can still put up 30 or 40. Or in a sense, the world's back was against the wall, right? It's COVID.
Right.
And people saw me on, 757s by myself. I ain't Drake. You know what I'm saying? I don't own the airlines, but I'm flying to these places, Chicago, I went to Indiana. I'm flying all over the place. And I believe that when people saw me, it's like against immeasurable odds, like Jay said, when you're moving like that, people were like, hey, something about this G6 guy.
Because that's to say, hey, people in a regular, I'll have just a conversation about nothing. Randomly, I know, hey, it's something about you. What do you do?
Right.
And then, because a lot of people, if outside of here, I do have a job, but
sure.
This is my career.
Hello. So
having conversations with individuals at times, they'll be like, when I'm talking to you, I hear more out of you than what I'm seeing right now. What is it that you do?
Right.
So it's like, oh, well, I also host a podcast and co-host Socially Acceptable.
Yes, sir.
So then there's like, that's what it is. I knew it.
Yes.
It's a physical form of inspiration that you're exuding.
Yes.
And don't let people dim your light. That's another thing that people have been saying.
Yes. No, 100%, 100%. And once people saw that, I just believe it. This is just my own assessment. I could be 100% wrong, but it just felt like it resonated.
Mhm.
And people were like, okay, everybody already knows I'm not taking no for an answer. I'm never going to stop. I'm always going to do what I got to do. I'm going to follow through. We were supposed to do this however long ago. Like, I'm going to keep hitting. I'm going to keep following up. And I don't take it by anybody's fault and it's anybody's wrong. It's just we're all working. We're all doing these things. So I believe once I did that, there was a shift. And then everybody knows that's when the whole podcasting thing kind of went to another level because everybody was at the house during COVID. So I was already ahead of the curve. I'd already done that first. And then I started just changing the whole face of Las Vegas media, independent media game, because people weren't doing podcasts and this wasn't a familiar thing in Las Vegas. It's very hard. A lot of people would always say, why isn't there a Vegas artist? I'll say, well, there's Neo, but most people don't know that.
People don't do no homework.
Right. Most people don't know that, but it's because it's also and shouts out to Neo. That's, good brother, shouts out to Chad and Vaughn, everybody at Rock Nation. But it's just a lot of people don't know that Neo didn't necessarily, have I'm from Las Vegas flag. Right. That wasn't what it is. But what I learned is when I was living in Las Vegas, it's very hard to market anything in Las Vegas because nothing's bigger than the program. The program in Vegas is Vegas.
Right.
So you try to you once you understand that, it's like, okay, cool. So once I moved to Vegas, I moved in 2016, but once I was there and I was working on the media side of things, it was just right time. COVID was happening, this is what it was, everybody was at the house, and it really became a thing. So I started going on a lot of platforms. And the platforms I was going on, I had another vision or pivot vision because I saw in 2025 that I would sit down with somebody like yourself, and I would, right when it was over, I'd say, I do management. Would you want to go on a pod, or would you want to go on a platform? And someone were like, what do you mean? I would be like, I knew then that you were going to be more important than your subject, as a journalist.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because
absolutely.
If you interview, let me ask you, let's switch this around. How many people have you interviewed in the last 2 years?
In the last 2 years, let's say last 2 years, that's not including Socially Acceptable?
Let's include it all.
Okay, including everything. Let's go. We got episodes with double-digit individuals, so I'm looking at anywhere from the last 2 years, anywhere from 50 to 60 people.
Cool. So you've sat down and done something to this effect to 50 and 60 people. Press, you're more interesting than most people that I'm going to just... you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man.
You become more of a man of interest, a person of interest, because that's interesting. You literally have talked to 60 different people. And these are not random people. These are people that are doing something in the culture, in business, in music, entertainment, and any of these things of interest. You're more interesting. So I was going on podcasts, and after I sat with every person that interviewed me, I started booking them on platforms. So started doing that. Boom, from 2020 came 2021, still moving. 2021 turned into 2022. But then what happened was it hit a wall. People in Las Vegas, and I'm just using Las Vegas sample size from what I can tell, they stopped their platforms.
It did slow up.
So their platforms stopped. Now, imagine how that feels to somebody that has a vision. And I'm like, oh, because when things is born, now I got you on this show, and then who knows what happens. Big deals have happened. This is that. But now they didn't believe in this. They didn't stick with this. They forgot that I met them through this.
At the core. Keep your core.
A lot of people forgot that. So once there's no more platforms, I have artists, I'm helping the podcast hosts and stuff. But if they don't have a platform, who suffers? We all suffer.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, because it's all a part of the program.
It's all a part of the program. So then I started noticing that. Yes, it's frustrating. Like you said, yes, ups and downs. I'm not selling a struggle story, but at the end of the day, we go through ups and downs. I'm an independent contractor. I'm an entrepreneur. This is my career. This is my business. Ups and downs and ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? So once I started seeing that a lot of these platforms were no longer, come around like 2023, 2024, I did a Vegas social. I did a Vegas Circle podcast.
Shout
interview.
out our brother, man.
Shout out Pocky, man. Shout out Pocky.
Big time.
Yeah, and
I'll be there soon.
Yes, 100%. And I
we tapped in. Big support both ways, man, and keep doing what you're doing because it's a true form of inspiration.
Yes,
completely,
100%. And I'm bringing them up for as you say, everything has an intent. Everything has the intent. Because I did their podcast in 2022 for the first time, and I did my second one in 2020, late 3, like November, kind of leading into 2024. And they were the only ones that actually, because I was on Las Vegas Entrepreneurs Top 40 Under 40 in 2021, and so were they. So I'm saying all that to say this. They withstood the storm. They were in the grind. They went from doing Zoom interviews to doing it how we're doing it now.
Yep.
No shade to anybody that did the Zoom interviews, but that's the reason why I got on the planes. I was like, I can't just do this. My artists need to be. It's just not the same. You know what I'm saying?
It's a different vibe.
It's a different vibe.
And I understand the struggle. And everybody always asks me, like, how do I start? I started off by putting my phone in between individuals and having real conversations.
There you go.
And it got me to doing this on a higher level.
There you go.
Consistency. And the thing is, everyone, if you're really doing stuff with the right intent, you truly have faith. It's not about when you get there. It's about getting there.
Right.
So don't, just trust the process. Everybody always sees me putting the TTP. Trust the process.
100%.
Because you'll never know that one day that you decide to give up could be that day that you could have persevered and got over that hump.
100%. So what happened is that, that's, and for you younger kids, what he just described, that's exactly the same way that like academics got on. He used to just be putting his phone up and just sitting in his car, working his little bullshit job. And then, we see how that goes. And it's only a matter of time before press becomes, one of the biggest in the industry. So
thank you.
No, 100%. I literally seen that in you because I know, Ken is Phil Jackson.
Oh man, he literally
he's Phil.
Yeah, he again in those tough times where I'm like, man, I don't even get to finish complete a sentence. He's like, bro, you got it.
You got it.
And what you got is special.
Right.
Keep going.
And that's coming from someone that's divine, ordained, all that type of stuff. So after I did the first interview, 2022, great interview with Pocky and Chris. But after that, I started seeing more of the decline of the platforms leaving. And let me tell you this, and let's address this. A lot of you motherfuckers thought that I fell off. Just because these platforms ain't around no more.
No.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by versatility.
If the platform ain't around no more, how the fuck y'all gonna see me?
I mean, they either gotta turn on the TV screen, see you doing some acting.
They're right. So,
it's again, versatile.
I'm talking some shit.
He talking major shit.
A lot of y'all niggas, some of my core niggas was, man, G, we don't see you. Nigga, I can't.
What are you talking about?
What Nip say? There ain't no platforms. There ain't no platforms for us to come on.
And get with the right platforms. So many people are really getting on clout chasing platforms with no substance and everything like that.
100%.
If you genuinely have a story, not just to uplift yourself, but uplift others. That's what 100%. It's really all about. Each one teach one. 100%. So stop looking for likes.
Yeah.
And really get back to living.
And you like I said, my aesthetic and how people equate things I do, but frivolous and all that stuff. You go to any of my.
Consistency
I'm not
is
on
the key.
You know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not on the Fresh Fit. Not saying I wouldn't go and talk shit to some bitches, but that's not normally the thing that I go to. I don't go to the clicks and views. I like to sit down and have these, solid conversations with solid people.
Mm-hmm.
So after we did that, and then I doubled back and went back on their show in 2023. It was literally 2023, I would say October. Every time you do an interview with Pocky, I love you, Pocky, but your interviews don't come out till 3 months later. But that's because he's such a boss, and they got so much stuff going on. And I mean, I've watched them go from 200 subscribers to, I mean, congrats to them. They're over 20,000 at this point right now.
Yep.
And once they caught a stride, they caught a stride.
Mm-hmm.
But right after I did, so a lot of podcasts were gone. I went and did their show, and something like this, I mean, I don't care about views and shit like that. I don't care about views and likes. I care about impact.
Right.
I care about an impactful conversation, just like when I watched you and Ken do this. I don't normally watch, I don't even watch all of my stuff. I watch that because I know you and I know Ken and I know that's going to be something solid.
It was by far some of the greatest gems. Not even just on my show, but just for me as a person.
100%.
That was dropped on the episode.
Oh, 100%. We would have started this episode an hour earlier, but when Ken started talking, I'm not
hour and a half later.
I'm not going to.
When the real word is preached, you sit back and
you just take it in, man.
Take
it all in. So after I did their episode, I did it in October. I believe it released in. Did it
early 2024?
Maybe I did it in September, and maybe I did it in August, September, and it released October, November.
Mm-hmm.
Because I booked Mozzie VS,
mm-hmm.
Free Mozzie. Yeah. I booked Mozzie VS on their show. He just did this record with Jim Jones. We were promoting, mm-hmm. and after that, then I did my interview. After I did my interview, it was just impactful. Like it was just a shift. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about when I sent that interview. I hadn't been in contact with Ken, but if I would have sent that to Ken, I'm sure he would have told me the same thing because I sent it to one of our childhood friends, Thompson. Shouts out to Thompson, A1, and he said, "Gee, I ain't gonna lie, man. You do a lot of interviews, and you've been moving a lot and this, that, and the third, but He said, but I don't know, man. Like, I can't lie. Like, sometimes I'll be like, man, is my nigga good? Is he straight? He said, I looked at this interview from beginning to end. And he doesn't do that. You got mm-hmm. people that are not really the social media ones, or they don't.
Right.
But if they do, it means something.
Mm-hmm.
He said, nah, I watched that interview. I said, my nigga good. He good. Mm-hmm. He got it. And my mom, I sent the interview to my mom. I could feel it the minute that the interview was sent to me. Because the minute I get an interview, it's like, oh, all right, I'm about to start marketing and sending it to everybody.
Post, yeah, get the eyes on the prize.
I'm talking about, I'm literally like at my complex outside on a bench, and like I could have been in my house, but sometimes you ever feel like I got so much energy, I just can't do all this in here. Mm-hmm. And I got a townhouse, it's nice, but I'm like, fuck that. We gotta go outside.
Yep.
So I'm right next to the tennis court, chilling on top of the bench, and I'm doing all this stuff like 2-3 hours straight. You just plugging away, putting marketing. Mm-hmm. I would go back in my place. I send it to all my people. That's when Thompson tells me that. And then my mom calls me, and then she says, I watched the interview. She says, it's crazy what I'm about to tell you. She says, but why does it feel like this is a comeback interview? And she's like, but you didn't go anywhere. And my mom's the oracle. Like, I didn't have no pop. Everything I know, she gets all the credit for. She said it felt like a comeback interview, and that was kind of like what I felt Thompson was saying. Mm-hmm.
That was extra confirmation on that.
Yes. So after that, and I've told Pocky this. Fast forward, I told him that when he did, he had an event that was basically, which was super dope. I mean, they literally book people on their show, and then they have an event to have people network, which was super dope. And I got to tell him that, you know what I'm saying? And not just, I got to literally let him know, like, No. I'm not. You're not gonna have many interviews that are gonna be impactful or life changing or where you feel it. Fuck what everybody else feels. Life is about how you feel, Press, and how I feel, and it is what it is. If we can find a mutual feeling in between that, cool. But it was like I got to tell him that. I said, man, like I said, this last interview, man. I said it changed. It definitely changed the trajectory of the things that I had popping. And he was like, man, it's great to hear that. And he said, and to be honest with you, we've heard people say something like that before. And I was like, that's what it's about. So I was super appreciative of that. And literally after that, I would say going into 2024, that's where, let's just say that's where we became acquainted because I don't remember the month, but it wasn't too far after that until Thompson was like, hey man, you ain't tapped into Kenyon? I'm like, what you mean? He like, man, Kenyon got he running he got his own pot because Thompson he not 100% knowing what he got going. He like he doing something, man. Man, tap in with your brother. Say less. He gave me his number. I call Ken. You see us. I'm chopping up with Ken 2-3 hours straight. He tells me everything that he got going. I'm like, man, I'm super proud of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no matter what, we still in the same field. However, I can add value, let me know. Likewise, we strategize, we plan things. And that was last year. And I finally got to, a couple of days ago, come on your show with Socially Acceptable and be here with you, Press. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't get no more full circle than that, brother.
1,000%.
That's
because
what
it all had to happen too. Like there's certain moments in life that you can't. It's inevitable, so to speak. So this was inevitable in 100%. General from the energy that we connected off of.
Oh, can I get to that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I link up with Ken. We chop for 3 hours. He tells me the whole. I got the network studios. And it wasn't like, we already know, it's like, come through whenever but it's like, I'm like, nah, man, let me add value. Let me help market, whatever you. So after we have that conversation, I follow you. I follow Corey. Shouts out to Corey. I follow Ken, the network studios. I said, you tell me whatever you want me to do, man. I'm a market. I'm a crazy marketer. You ain't seen me in a minute, Ken. I'm crazy with this. So I start going crazy. I tap in with Press. And I tell Press straight up, yo, you don't know me, you know what I'm saying, from can of paint, from a hole in the wall. Kenyon is my brother. I'm repping whatever y'all repping. I'm repping you. I'm following you, whatever you need. Facts?
1,000%.
I liked everything on this man's page. I did, just support it every day. And it's very rare that you find somebody that literally, matches and or exceeds, because it's some days I wake up and Preston done like everything I post. And I post like a maniac. Like I post, everybody know, 100, 200 stories. It does take time to do this.
But
for 100 stories. It doesn't cost them anything.
It doesn't cost anything, but
True.
It also takes time to actually see what a person has going on.
True.
Because a lot of people, they can go ahead and just have their phone. They can just do go tap happy.
True.
But I actually take the time. That's why I say I do homework. I take the time to see what someone has going on.
True.
And see what value that they're adding not only to their own lives, but the value that they're adding out to the community.
Definitely.
Because that's what it's all about. Get people to stop suffering silence and stop hiding their hurt, so they can heal from it. But also get people to stop thinking that, oh, this person's looking down and I'm looking up. No, we're seeing eye to eye.
Definitely.
And that's when the real connections can happen, and that's when the real blessings come into fruition.
100%, man. It couldn't have been said any better. And that's a blessing because of the conduit of Kenyon, and he only is going to keep solid people around him. So when I tapped in with him, I was like, man, he's solid. Like the dude, he you know what I'm saying? So like instantly, we like kindred spirits. We brothers. Like I'm like, well, shit, then you my brother just off the strength of Ken, and
Exactly.
then Ken is saying nothing but good things about you. So it's just been solid ever since. So you literally, we follow each other, all that type of stuff. So once I see how you moving, boom, I start promoting you guys. Day one, you know what I'm saying? Episode 1, you know what I mean? Like whatever. Like I was always there, always supportive. You know, before you guys had the big, you know, the big guests, the John B's and the Akons, and the G6s.
We doing some stuff
Yeah.
out here, you know. And again, it's the show that humanizes influence the LA way. So get with it or get lost in the sauce.
Definitely.
And it's very genuine. We're two LA kids doing it not for ourselves but for everybody.
Definitely.
So you can either again be a part of it because it's about everybody.
No,
And that's the main thing.
And I'm telling you, man, it was so dope to see you guys just take off. And I started seeing you do, like I said, you know, the John B episode, and you know, Spencer at Interscope was really, you know, really cool with John. You know what I'm saying? So I knew John. It was funny. I saw John at the Soul Train Awards a while ago when they came in Vegas. Met John. You know, introduced the chick I was dealing with at the time. So
It's a lot of small worlds in there.
It's a lot of small worlds, man.
I've had when I was recording elsewhere other than the network studios prior to that.
Right.
I had an individual that worked with John, backup singer, bodyguard,
Nice.
Brian Lasky.
Nice.
Hey, like, so it was just so funny, like how just being yourself and being genuine will get you in all the right places that you ever dreamed about being in. So a lot of people ask me how I get the guests that I get on my show and stuff. Literally just being myself.
Mhm.
A lot of them I can genuinely call friends. I can call them. I can just confide in them
100%.
and whatever the case may be. And that's what I want to really push people to be. Keep being you. Everybody else is already taken. So don't try to be somebody else. Be yourself.
Be yourself.
You know, like, and my brother, this has been an amazing blast. You already know we're going to have you back.
Oh, wait, I didn't even.
But no, we still there.
Oh, okay, cool.
But we at the blast from the past moment, my brother.
Talk to me. I'm here.
You've mentioned a lot of incredible individuals. You've mentioned a lot of incredible moments in your life.
Yes, sir.
But these are some moments that I want you to kind of like, you know, just take a moment to say what it really meant, who these people meant, and what they meant to you.
Gotcha.
All right. The first photo I have here of you is you as a young one with your mother.
I mean, my mom is everything, man. I mean, you know, you're never gonna find a woman. This is a woman that, you know, born and raised in D.C. She was, I mean, she worked her whole life, got married. You know, I wasn't a bastard. They got married before they had me. You know, got to put that in there, you know.
The right way. The right way was done.
She would have it no other way. So, just a great woman, you know, got with my father, you know, that didn't work out, but, you know, she still was always was everything. You know, my mom made it her personal, like, oh, okay, you gonna be on some bullshit? Okay, cool. I'm not fucking with no niggas. I'm not doing nothing. I'm literally focusing on him. My mom never brought any men around. I never saw another man in our house. You know, my mom said, God, you know, God is the man of this house. You know, when I try to be like, you know, when I was young, yeah, I'm the man. God is the man. You know, did all that stuff. But yeah, my mom, and then, you know, my mom didn't come from the era of seeing her mom bring other men into the household type thing.
Right.
You know,
she was also raised
right.
So,
she was raised with
keeping
that. So
tradition going.
yeah, she didn't introduce me to. I didn't meet any other men, you know, until I was grown, 30s. So the second picture was at the convention center. I graduated. I graduated high school. I graduated from City of Angels. Which, for people that don't know, that is it's an independent school, homeschool program that most like celebrities and, you know, celebrity kids and stuff that, you know, like Brandy, Ray J went there, Lil Fizz, you know, some people from B2K, they went there. So it was basically, you know, people that are touring and all that type of stuff. That's where they went. I was at Beverly my junior year. After that, I was extremely frivolous. So, you know, they did kick me out, but he was right there.
Right there on the cusp.
So I did the homeschool thing at the end, and that was the graduation. And I mean, you know, I don't remember, to be honest, I don't remember anybody else being there except for my girlfriend at the time, Shorty, Karen, shouts out to her, and my mom. And I got a Rolex, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I got that Rolex on the wrist, and if you got, you know, whenever they can zoom it in here, it was like super slinky. Like I can fit my watch. I can fit my watches now. You know, the Rolex was like all probably down to my elbow. But it was just it was a dope moment, man. You know, just graduating. You know, I did that, and it was just dope. You know, my mom was there. You know, my girl at the time was there. Convention center. I did feel like a star because I believe Fizz or one of them guys walked with us. Like so I forget who was from B2K. So please, don't kill me in the comments. But yeah, one of those guys walked with us. He walked the stage with me and stuff like that. Because my mom, she just wanted. I believe she put me in that program. I mean, shouts out to my mom. I guess you a star. Who was Brandy and Ray J? You walk with them. But she just wanted to see me walk the stage. I believe. I believe she did that. And she knew I was intelligent and all that type of stuff, so she didn't want me to lose that moment.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
you gotta give them that.
Yeah. So that's what that was about, man. I was at the convention center, and I mean, hey, my graduation was at the convention center.
And then transferring from being the only child to having only one child.
For sure. So that picture, we are at apartment complex that's in Torrance. Around that time, my son was probably anywhere from 7 to 9. And it was just a dope pool day, man. My son, he Iverson Jordan Smith. That's why this guy has the Iverson jersey on. He's good. He's good. He had the Coca-Cola on. He had the Coca-Cola jacket on the last one.
Yeah.
Shouts out to my partners at Coca-Cola and Sony. But yeah, man. I mean, I always wanted to dispel, the generational curse. My mom didn't have a father. I didn't have a father. So I got to dispel that. I've been a great father. I've been, there for my son since day one. I talk, a lot of you guys, you got to, even if you got to have your kid or the chick had the kid and then you show up even after the kid is born, but you're not there for the 9 months and the birth, you didn't get the full experience, brother. I'm just be honest with you. You didn't get the full experience, But yeah, my son is everything, he's everything. I've been there every step of the way, ups, downs, and different, regardless, my child's mother's she's a great woman, she's the best, never had any problems, to a whole nother level, basic problems and stuff like that. But, I'm saying, much love to her, I'm saying, shouts out to her. She's a great mom. She's just you don't get any better than that, especially in this climate. All of the boss babes and all of the independence and all of that.
That's why I'm single with no kids.
Yeah, and if I was to be in this era, man. So she's great, and my son is everything. And that picture just symbolizes a great day. And it's funny because if you was to go like this in that little left-hand corner, she's right there with her feet up.
Yep.
Yeah, she's right there with her feet up. So it was just a good pool day, man. It was just a dope pool day chilling with my son.
Absolutely. So you had an amazing takeoff journey as far as the parent and the personal side. But this next photo was gonna be
is one of my first press releases. Is that DJ Clue? Is that DJ Clue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
It could have been DJ Clue or This Is 50.
This is 50.
Okay, this is 50.
This is 50.
Okay, cool. So, my first press release, I was making some noise, doing some traction. That picture that they used, it was when I first moved to Las Vegas. I linked up with Monaco Billion. He's one of the youngest Black billionaires. I was working at Chateau just so I could understand, how Vegas was moving. After working there for a year, I met Monaco. He just liked who I was. He liked how I could, just the club scene and had the ladies and, did all that type of stuff. So he said, man, I like your style. Where you from? I said, I'm from DC, but I came from Beverly Hills. Is that in the third? He always called me 24/7. He said, man, you posting 24/7. And it was crazy. Interesting little story with him. When he first invited me over to his, magnificent house and all that type of stuff, I was Snapchatting everything and filming everything, but I didn't know him that well. So I'm a shit talker. So I'm like video and I'm like, if I had this much, if I was a billionaire, I'd say I had some badder bitches than these. And so I'm doing all of this. Keep it up. Stay with me, y'all. So I do all of that, talking my shit, just being frivolous. And we're all chilling at his place. And then before all the ladies leave, we're going to link up later. But I'm like, hold on. Don't leave. Let me get all of your Snapchat. Y'all remember when that was a thing?
I still have my Snapchat.
Okay.
That was my, outside of when I deactivated my Facebook, I went through a horrible breakup. So my thing was I created my Snapchat and I have a rich uncle, Uncle Eric,
hey,
shout out.
Hello.
he literally was gonna buy me a car to drive to, because we have property in Alabama, so I was literally gonna drive a brand new car from Cali to Alabama, but I was gonna showcase because some people don't leave the state, so I was gonna literally just record
on Snap. And that's what I was doing in 2016. So when I first moved to Vegas, that's what I was doing.
Makes a lot of sense now.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I
was vlogging before vlogging.
I was vlogging before vlogging, man. So I'm talking, yeah, the brushing my teeth, the washing my face, and damn near all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So before all of the ladies left, I was like, hold on, let me get all of your Snapchats. So I get all their Snapchats. Boom. I'm like, so I'm chopping. So they leave, and this is where I get to have a one-on-one moment with him. We're chopping it up, talking business, and my phone kept ringing, and he was like, why don't you answer your phone? I was like, I don't know how many times I'm gonna be in front of one of the youngest black billionaires in the world, man. I'm trying to soak up this game. So he was like, I like that, man. He said, we ain't got to talk no more, man. I'm rocking with you.
1,000%.
You ready? Go get changed, go get fresh. Meet me at the lounge that we're gonna meet at.
Mm-hmm.
No problem, I'll do that. I go get ready. On the way to the lounge, one of the homegirls that was with him, it goes, where you at? I'm like, I'm on my way. They like, was you just posting his house and stuff like that? Gee, delete all of those stuff. Delete it. I'm with him right now. Like, he's looking at you. What was you going to? I'm like, what? I'm probably, this 2016, I'm probably drunk, faded all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whatever, man, I don't care. So then my guy Jonas, who was his right-hand man, he hits me. So I know it's
real.
He hits me like, gee, what the fuck you been doing? I'm like, what you mean? He's like, all right, man, just tell me when you get here. So I pull up, but I'm kind of late. So by the time I get there, he goes, Jonas is like, man, we already left. Just meet us back at Billion's house, Monaco Billion.
Yep.
Meet us back at hell. He want to talk to you. So I'm like, okay. So I meet him back there. So then I'm a little nervous because it's like I kill that little feeling. They say that. So I'm a little nervous. So I pull up, and then I see him, and then he goes, yeah, man. He says, you different, man. He says, when I was chilling at the lounge, I'm hanging with these chicks. He says, you didn't show up. He says, it's just me and these chicks. He says, and literally, all they're doing is showing me your Instagram saying, man, when are we going to go back to his house? That was so cool. That was so cool. So the way that I'm snapping everything, they think it's my house. He's telling me this story. They think it's my house. And I'm talking reckless. You feel me? Like I said.
Yeah.
So he said, man, at the end of the day, if I can hang out with somebody and they can market this stuff and make it seem like it's them, then you need to be executive of lifestyle branding for my company. And he gave me this job right there on the spot.
It's so funny he mentions executives, and hence that was rolling over into my next photo.
Okay. Now, this was my Shout Out LA press release, and shouts out to Jules of Rome, man. Jules Salazar. I'm talking about, it does not get more wonderful than a wonderful, beautiful woman like this. She is solid. She does she's a brand strategist. I call her a brand director. I'm like, look, you can direct a brand and tell it where to go. She's a brand strategist. She's a PR. She's a genius. Shouts out to her. She just came up. She has the Artist Connect. She also has Brand Academy, which is a community that she's building right now. Much love and shouts out to her. She saw, we met earlier this year, and she saw all of the things that I was putting into action, and she was like, you got it. We actually met at my the Money Play. The Money Play.
Shoot?
The studio shoot.
Studio shoot.
Not the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
So she came through for that, but long story short, she was just, and that picture, and I want to always shouts out, Willie at Whoview TV, because that picture was from the same day when I first started working with Willie.
Okay.
So if you see me doing any of the things that you see me doing with AI, Willie's the one that tapped me with that. So he's a visual director, business partner, brother. I mean, just all of the above. This is he's one of the most tapped in people when it comes to, visuals in Las Vegas. He's filmed for everybody. Literally, he's filmed for everybody. I'm talking about, I asked him, like, so who have you not filmed for? So he took that picture. So Jules, she's a PR genius. She was just loving everything that I was doing, and she said, "Gee, we got to press play on you, man. You doing so much good stuff." And like I said, I help her with any artist that she's working with as well. So, and that was I'm in Vegas, met her in Vegas, but she was like, ain't nobody that all the stuff you do, ain't no LA ain't. I'm like, well, you kind of got to leave home, prodigal son type of thing for them to actually appreciate who the fuck you really are. So she, that was a blessing. So she took care of that. And once again, I want people to note that press release is in 2025 before it turns into 2026, because a lot of people show press releases and they be kind of outdated. So that's very much, I believe it was February.
Yep. Actually, no, this one was in April.
I'm still moving.
So you've mentioned, Vegas.
Yeah.
We circled around a lot of blocks and stuff like that. And we mentioned help. Can we talk about how much this individual has meant to you, helped you, and you've helped them?
My brother Pocky at Vegas Circle Podcast.
Yes.
I mean, I already mentioned what he's done for me. Pocky is a guy that is first and foremost, he's a solid man, first and foremost. Then he's a solid father, and he's a solid husband. And and he's a mentor as far as like I can ask him about stuff that he's going through, with his family and stuff like that. And, just raising kids in Las Vegas and things like that. He was got a successful platform. He invited me on his platform. And a lot of people don't, they don't have to come through for follow-ups or stuff like that. It's like how me and you kicked it off. It was just when it's genuine, we just follow up. We just follow up. And after I did that impactful interview, I got the chance. Well, then he invited me. So let's talk about Pocky. So then he had that event. Once he had that event, at that event, he got me paid. I was at the event, and I was with Jules. Shouts out to Jules. Jules came through. She was there. We was doing what we do.
For real.
And he introduced me. I was doing my thing, talking my shit. One of the videographers that was filming, I said, "Man, ain't nobody talking shit, man. Let me do a drop for Pocky." I did a drop. I'm animated. I started talking my shit. People started paying attention, and I believe Brian Booker from Look Hugh Network. Shouts out to Brian. He just saw me talking, and then I started talking to this other guy, Ron, and Ron was like, "Hey man, I like your steez, man. What do you do?" And I told him what I did. And he said, "Oh, you in the industry? You film stuff?" He said, "Well, we're working on this TV show right now. We're filming this show. It's like a dating show. Trying to see you act the most girls, get the most ladies, or whatever." I said, "Okay, what are you saying?" He was like, "Would you want to do it?" I said, "Sure." I said, "When you guys filming?" He said, "Right, like tonight, or like he's like
Like
an
right
hour
now.
after this. He's like an hour after, like whenever this is over." So I said, "Okay." I said, "Not only am I going to do it," and this is before they were talking about money. I was just going to do it to do it. I was like, not only am I going to do it, I'm going to win. So he said, "Bet." He said he talks a big game. I turned to Pocky. I'm like, "Pocky, these guys don't know. Let them know." And he's like, "Nah, man, G6 is the real deal. He's the real thing." And right after that, I gave him another, we did like another drop, all of us, him, his wife, shouts out to his wife, like I said, he's got such a solid family, man, what I'm saying, being together, they've been together, probably over 20 years. It was just dope. And then after that, literally, I leave, and it was all in the Strip. So we were at the Aria. That's where the event was, at the Aria. Left there, went on the Strip. I met Brian. I met the videographer Ron, who I met initially, and signed the NDAs. He got, he's like, we're gonna get you paid. You cat, sit the bread right there. Got me paid right there on the spot. And I did the whole, I forget the name of the show because it hasn't aired yet.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the show, but it was a dating show, and I went and did my thing, and I ended up winning, and talking to all the ladies and getting all the numbers or whatever the case may be. But I mean, that was literally it just happened. You know what I mean? So Pocky didn't even mean to get me paid. You know what I mean? He
right
didn't
place,
even
right time.
Yeah, it was opportunity. So that happened, and then it's very rare that I get to do what I plan on doing with you, and I got to bring Pocky on G6 TV. And I shot 9 episodes of G6 TV. Once I get to like over 10, I'll start releasing everything. That's why everybody G6 TV coming in 2026. Maybe a little Christmas, New Year, something. I might do, I might do a little
a
something.
little cliffhanger, or something right
Yeah,
there.
there you go, cliffhanger. I love that. Yeah, I might do something like that. But so on episode 6, I believe, I had Pocky come through, and Pocky's so solid, and just the clips and I haven't released any of the clips officially. I clipped that Pocky. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen
Absolutely,
it. Yeah,
dude.
I clipped our episode just because I felt like that was my way to just pay it back forward, man. Just because I really appreciate him, man. Like it was really impactful. So regardless if he was on episode 6, a lot of people was like, "Oh, was he on episode 1?" Just because that's what like the first thing they seen. Nah, episode 1 is shouts out to Rick Rock. That's my artist. Rick Rock. I want to get him up here definitely. He's
Absolutely.
from Compton. You know what I'm saying? Nutty Block Crip. All of that type of shit. Fucking with Geechee Gotti and all of them. But he's just solid brother, man. Solid brother. So yeah, he was on episode 1. Pocky was on episode 6, but it was just that clip. And I was actually talking about him being such a great father in that clip. So to me, I know that's what he cares about the most. That is impactful to him. So on G6 TV, I want the same thing that you do for me. You want me to shine in what is something that's impactful to you. So I wanted to pay it back to him.
1,000%. And we are definitely at you're already going into my next thing, which is the positive period of the podcast. If there's something to help somebody get over the hump of self-doubt or to persevere through, any naysayers and negativity, what would you give them so they can take off?
A naysayer, so basically somebody that doesn't believe in themselves. If you don't believe in yourself, I can only direct you to God, man. If you don't believe in yourself, because all of the belief that I have in myself, it comes from my belief in God. So tap into a higher being. I know people get weird with the words and stuff, but God, Allah, higher being, whatever. But something has to be bigger than you for you to really know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So I get who I am from my mom, my family, obviously the culture, but it's like God is the number one. He's the basis of everything, and then everything else falls under that. So I would say get you a relationship with a higher being so you understand that you're not in control of anything, You're really not. You can control the things that you can control, but if it's out of your hands, give it to God.
Let go and let God.
Yeah, let go and let God at the end of the day. But what I would also say is that when it comes to confidence, self-esteem, security, and insecurity, people have to understand the man in the mirror. That's one of my theories. It's just the man in the mirror. That's who your op's gonna be. That's who your ally's gonna be. It's up to you to figure out which side of the fence they're gonna be on.
Oh, bro, clip that. Because, man, that's genuinely the truth. I fight more with myself than anyone else. And it's only because, like, the vision I have and the time that I have, sometimes it doesn't correlate. But the blessing in that is being blessed with more time.
Yes.
God willing.
Yes. No, and that's what I always say is one of the best ideologies that people should take when it's like, we talked about this yesterday, 2 days ago. Whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a, romantic relationship, friendship, whatever, it's like we should literally be trying to, let me see if I can out positive you and you out positive me. So let's just, as our friendship, man, if he gonna repost me 10 times, I'm gonna repost him. I'm gonna do that. Like that is the competition, because you're really not in competition with anything.
Right.
Same thing with your lady. I tell every woman, what I'm saying, that I'm with or gonna be, or whatever the case may be, it's like, I believe that we should be in a battle of who's gonna try to love each other more till eternity.
1,000%.
So, man, all right, you showed me you love me more today. All right, I'm gonna beat you tomorrow. And if we try to out love each other or have the competition of who's gonna love and be there and care for each other, we'll do that to the end of time, and then we'll end up dying figuring out no one won. It was equal.
That's the real That's the real meaning to life.
Right. So that's kind of what I always say. And like I told you, man, you throw that gym in there with a lady who's going to refuse. It's also like this. I'll give you this one. What you do is you say, if a person says, you start talking to a lady, you want to see where this goes. You say, okay, let's just do this. How about you give me 1% of your trust? But once you give me that 1%, I own it. It's mine. And I'll earn the other 99. That was a free one for y'all. Y'all say that to any woman. But you got to live up to it. Don't just do that to get the little one and done like
Don't
Hitch.
Just be lip service. Actually put in the work and be of service.
Yes, man. But that's what it is. It's a marketing thing too. If you go into a board meeting and you say, okay, cool, you guys are going to give me $100 million. We're going to do this deal. Cool. Give me 1% of your trust, and I'll earn the other 99. You can use that in anything. Boardroom with some pussy. Don't say I didn't. Don't say I didn't give you all the dichotomy of the frivolous lifestyle.
You're learning today. You're learning today, ladies and gentlemen. I can't say thank this man enough. This is not a one-time thing. He's gonna be a repeat offender here, 1,000%. Because there's more gems of life that we need to drop. There's more moments in your life that we still need to cover, and there's more moments still to come.
Definitely, and time. I mean, I didn't realize that. Times like that, man.
Absolutely. So God willing, we get more time. We'll create this again, brother.
No, we will. 100%.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you for having me. I appreciate the Network Studios. Shouts out to Kenyon. Shouts out to Corey. Shouts out to everybody that I don't see that had anything to do with this. Press. Shouts out to you for sure, because it's a lot of times when people say we're going to do stuff and they don't do it. You know what I'm saying? So you being a man of your word, me being a man of mine.
Thank you.
That's much appreciated. I definitely appreciate you for having my artist who will be here, on the 8th, next Monday. And then I have my other artist. That's my artist on the 8th will be Clip Cut. Shouts out to Clip Cut. And then on the 22nd, I got Definition of Artistry, DOA. He'll be coming through. So the fact that I get to come through and then I get to, usher in a few of my artists to come through and bless you guys and let you guys know what we got going over here on Money Train Management. It's a real blessing. I really appreciate it,
Absolutely. I'll not only have them in here divulging on their artistry, but the art of life that they live as well. Because it's mainly connecting with the person and understanding their profession, but the real is being of person,
100%,
connecting with them personally,
100%. And that's going to be on socially acceptable. I gotta talk to SB if these motherfuckers we gonna work it.
We gonna work it in the schedule.
Come on, express yourself.
We gonna work it in the schedule.
But no, I'm like I said, I'm really appreciative, man. And like I said, anything, and I mean it genuinely. So let me take the shades off, because Ken always be like, man, just show them your eyes.
Show them your eyes. I can hear them now.
If I can, any way I can help, market anything that you got going. I know you work in a nonprofit. I know you do a whole bunch of stuff. Man. So if any way I can add value, I'm here. For real,
Thank
for real.
You.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. We in this together. Like I said, we locked in. So
Absolutely,
you know what I'm saying?
Man.
You ain't worried about nothing I got going as far as trying to throw my shit to the left. I would never hate on nothing you guys got going. So anything you need, man.
No, thank you. And keep being that individual, not just for myself, but for everyone.
Yeah.
We all see it.
No,
and yes, you have a very bright spotlight on you, but you're sharing it too.
Definitely.
And that's what it's all about. Each one teach one, and obtaining more information and knowledge to be able to pass on to others.
100%.
So let them know where they can find you and how to keep it, keep in the loop.
Yes, you can find me, capital G, CAPITAL G6. We just gonna keep it like that when it comes to Instagram. That's where everybody's going, man. But hey, my name's Geo Smith. If you want to go on Facebook and holler at me and see what I do with my family, but capital G6. Like I said, I got, artists, shouts out to Clip Cut, shouts out to Definition of Artistry, shouts out to Rick Rock, shouts out to Jules of Rome. She has a whole bunch of artists as well. If you guys need anything with PR, Money Train Management, we're moving, and like I said, I appreciate you for having me at Express Yourself. Let's do this again.
Absolutely. That's a fact, and that's a must, because I'm going to need more information to soak up more game.
Yeah, I feel like I only did. I feel like it was like y'all got a quarter. It's like a quarter.
A quarter.
I got 3 more quarters.
We're going to bring them back for that. I gave
him a Luka 21 in the first quarter. But, I mean, I got 3 more quarters.
I can't thank you enough, brother, and I will be looking overly forward to the next time we have this moment.
Likewise.
And you guys know who I am. It's your boy SB Press, and without you, there's no me. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and see you guys every Taco Tuesday. Peace.
Hey, when you elevate, the second of loss blouses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to